Hey there everyone, 8is80 here once again with another game of Starcraft 2. This will be a Zerg versus Zerg here on the Shadow Temple. Spawning first is Root Destiny. He is the blue Zerg here at the 7 o'clock. I have casted 2 games and this will be the 3rd game in a row of Destiny. And I've already done a ZVP and a ZVT, so of course the logical conclusion is the ZVZ. His red Zerg opponent here will be EG Machine, spawning here at the 8 o'clock. A little information about Machine. He is an American pro gamer whose real name is Bryce Bates. He is of course a member of Evil Geniuses. He has been nicknamed the unluckiest player ever due to the fact that he's lost to his teammate in control at several MLG events and also a WCG show match as well. But good news everyone, this story has a happy ending. He did finally beat In Control at MLG Dallas, and he actually managed to get 6th at that tournament, which was the highest finish for anyone in the team Evil Geniuses, so very well done by him. He is currently ranked 1st in the Roach-Dixie division of the North American Masters League with a 61% win rate. The quick rundown about Destiny, he is ranked 85th in the North American Grandmaster League with a 55% win rate. So we'll see these players duke it out here in this ZVZ on the Shadow Temple today. This is, of course, a game off of the North American ladders. Overlords is kind of chilling overhead, getting nice scouting information. Both players going the right direction, as that is, of course, the default way. You send them just over this little chasm right here. So they will be spawning relatively close by air, but still pretty far by land, as this map makes it quite difficult for you to rush an opponent, especially spawning in these locations, as you'll have to go all the way around the bases of both of these cliffs to be able to reach your opponent's base, as we see the expansion going up for Machine, and at the same time the expansion will be going up for Destiny as well. So these players not doing anything different here at the early part of this game, both choosing to go with a relatively quick expansion, which is of course a safe choice, especially when you have that Overlord above your opponent's base, making sure that they aren't going a 6, 8, or even 10 pool. So you are safe to expand, knowing that your opponent will not be getting any sort of quick rush happening into your base in the near future. So while these players are kind of set up their bases here in the early game, as we see they are doing pretty much the exact same thing. I did previously cast a game between Destiny and Major to fill this 3rd and final Destiny game slot, but unfortunately, well, it was a super long game, so I actually had to split it up into 3 parts, as my account on YouTube still can't upload videos longer than 15 minutes, which is a huge bummer. But in doing so, I apparently angered whatever gods dictate videos, operating correctly, and that game has now disappeared into the black hole of crashing into computer oblivion nonsense. So it's completely gone forever. I don't even know what happened to it. But rather than dwell on that little sad fact, I went ahead and found a 3rd game between Destiny and Machine, of course the game that you are now watching. As we see, these hatcheries are both now going to pop at right about the same time. And there goes Destiny's. I did find this 3rd game, and it gave this little 3-game series the nice, aesthetically pleasing fact of being a ZVP, a ZVT, and a ZVZ. So just, great all-around balance in the casting of Destiny right now that I didn't plan on, but was kind of forced into doing because that previous game that I casted imploded in on itself and died. As we see, Spinecrawler going up for Destiny, he will be making sure his base is well defended. A little different policy right now, as Machine has not chosen to get a spawn in front of his base, so Destiny just being a little more cautious than his red Zerg opponent, as we actually see Machine going for a Baneling nest here at his main base. So there is the first major differential between these two, between these two builds, as the Roach Warren is about to pop, and there it goes for Destiny. So he did manage to get that Roach Warren up before any pressure would come, so that might be a pretty nice advantage for Destiny, as we see a Zergling battle here in the middle of the field. Destiny's apparently got one more hit off on that Zergling, but Queens are now going to be rallied for Machine, but of course Queens are so slow off creep that they might as well be moving through quicksand, and Destiny Zerglings decided it's not worth it to engage a Queen headlong, as this Baneling nest is about to pop for Machine just a couple of seconds, and there it goes right now. So tall really for any Zerg building, almost as tall as a Spire, I believe. So that just now popped for our red Zerg. He's also going to be about to finish Metabolic Boost. Does Destiny have this? No, he does not. He doesn't have Speedlings. But bad news for Destiny. Our Zerg player, or red Zerg player rather, Machine does have Speedlings, so he might be moving out right now, getting a bunch of Lings going towards our blue Zerg player's base. 1 Zergling, or 2 rather, going to be moving up into the main for Destiny, so he might be able to do a little bit of damage, but there are Queens here, deciding to rally that. And here come the Zerglings here, going to be facing a couple of Roaches. Drones pulled off the lines, going to be kind of repelling this assault. Will they be able to do so without suffering heavy losses? The Zerglings decide to get away from that Spinecrawler by running straight into the main. There is not a Spine up here quite yet. There is only a Queen to defend these, as these Zerglings get a couple of worker kills. How many has he gotten? Only 2 so far, so really not that big of a deal right now. Losing quite a few Zerglings in the process. Let's take a look at that worker or units lost tab. Yeah, they're about even. We have our red Zerg player losing a bunch of Zerglings, but our blue Zerg lost an Overlord, I believe, to a Queen. So they're right about even right now in the resources lost tab. We have a couple of roaches on the field for Destiny, while it looks like Machine is just going to be a couple of more Zerglings down here poking around, trying to do something. These Overlords checking out the middle of the map and watching as Zerglings stream by. So Destiny will indeed know that Zerglings are chilling right here, as his Overlord has spotted that. Will they be able to do much damage? No, they will not, as they are drastically outnumbered by this force of roaches and lings. So these lings will be forced to turn tail and run right on back home, as Machine has started to get his Roach Warren online. That is right about halfway done at the moment. His stream of Zerglings has been put to work destroying these rocks at the goal expansion, as you might as well use your units for something, because you have them on the field and they aren't getting you any interest otherwise. As our blue Zerg player just still has that same conglomeration of, it looks like 5 or rather 6 roaches. He does have a couple of banelings now, so these players both got the tech building that the other one chose to get first. No real damage done by either player here in the early game. Nice defense by Destiny, holding off the early aggression that Machine was probably hoping would do a little more damage than it ended up doing. Machine is getting missile attacks level 1 for his roaches, something that Destiny has decided to forego thus far in this game. So our red Zerg will have that advantage if he's able to time this correctly, with a bunch of roaches popping at his base. I believe that was 10 at one point, with only 5 left to pop it now. So he has 5 plus those 4 and this one. It looks like there was one over here, I believe. Maybe not. So he will have right around a dozen roaches on the field. Will our Zerg player? Let's actually take a look at the tab that does math so much better than I do. It's 11 roaches for Machine to 6 for Destiny, comparing the 2 banelings that Destiny has, along with none right now for our red Zerg. Looks like a bunch of roaches now popping for Destiny, so he will be approaching his opponent in that regard. These Zerglings have destroyed the rocks here, so Machine does have that advantage, as Destiny's rocks have not quite been touched as of yet. Roaches all up in here, just kind of chilling on the creep, as Zerglings still streaming all around, as this is a much longer ZVZ than people who play ZVZs might be used to, as they usually degrade into a Roachling all-in at some point. But neither of these players did decide to go with that build, as this looks like both these players will be in this game for the long haul, as neither player will be able to break through their defenses at this point in the game. Roach attacks level 1, or missile attacks level 1 going up for Destiny, along with level 2 going up for Machine. So Machine will consistently be 1 upgrade ahead of Destiny at this rate if he continues to get upgrades, one after another. This Overlord is trying to get out of there, does have speed. Will he be able to escape? Might be able to do so, as the Queen won't be able to catch up, or will she? It looks like it does indeed poke out that Queen. I mean, that wasn't really that interesting of a battle. It was a Queen versus an Overlord, but nothing too much else is going on right now, as both players are taking a third base. But an interesting difference: Destiny has gone with the natural or normal expansion down here, while Machine has gone with the gold expansion that he had already destroyed the rocks of. So Machine will have an income advantage once those bases both pop and start to take effect. Destiny's is a little bit ahead of Machine's at this point, as we have Overlords just strewn all across the middle of the map. Both these players right now just have to live with it and understand that there won't be no element of surprise, as there are Overlords completely littering the middle of the map, giving each player the information whenever the other decides to move out. An Overseer for Destiny just kind of running around. Did look like it got hit a couple of times by a Queen or 2, so that will have to live with that. These roaches are going to be destroying the rocks down here, while Machine is actually taking a 4th base as well. So he will be not only 1 base ahead, but also with a gold expansion, so more like 1.5 at this point, as these Zerglings are being put to work to destroy the backdoor rocks to Destiny's 3rd base. He does not know about this quite yet, and if he doesn't prepare for it out of some 6th sense, he will be in some trouble once those back rocks go down, if he doesn't have anything in the way of defense. And Zerglings just stream in there and do a ton of damage, so we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if that is how this will play out. As upgrades galore going up for both players, we have Pathogen Glands, that Infestor energy coming online for Destiny, timing that pretty well with these Infestors so that they will spawn after the upgrade is finished, ensuring that they do spawn with that energy. rather than spawning before that, which is a mistake that some Zerg players make, not timing that correctly, and then your infestors spawn with no energy, and you are a super sad panda, because they're pretty useless until they get energy. Actually, fun fact, infestors are completely useless until you get energy, unless you want to use them as a glorified force field and clog up a ramp or something, I suppose. As Machine's 4th base is about to pop, both of these 3rd bases have already come online. This gold expansion is up and running. Let's take a look at just how effective that is. Looks like Destiny is actually a little bit ahead. He does have a nice 18 harvester advantage right now. So he has droned up quite a bit more than his Red Zerg opponent. He is right now at 20 harvester advantage, so he actually has an advantage to fight this gold expansion. But once this expansion kicks in, Machine should be quite a bit ahead in that regard. These roaches have noticed the Zerglings down here, so they are just waiting. If these Zerglings make the unwise decision of breaking down these rocks and streaming through, they will meet their quick and swift and acidic demise at the hands, or rather spits, of the roaches waiting for them. Looks like the roaches actually deciding to leave, and these Zerglings still hard at work destroying those rocks. Only 4 of them, so that will take them quite a while yet. We have a nice army right now for Machine. That is, looks like 24 plus 6 plus 8 plus 3, so 35. That was some interesting math by me, along with how many infestors does he have? 5 infestors for Machine right now, as Burrow is being researched by Destiny. He actually has 3 infestors along with 22 roaches, and those Zerglings not wanting to be clicked are actually all going to be morphing into banelings. So we have 12 banelings on the way for Destiny right now, as these Zerglings are about to finish breaking down these rocks. I'll just keep that selected. It's a nice little countdown to see when those rocks actually do get destroyed. Only 4 Zerglings right now, not too much damage that they even could do if they are allowed to go. And then they actually will be streaming in, and Spine Crawlers having a field day destroying all of those. Looks like 1 drone might go down to those Zerglings. The Queen is hard at work repelling that. Looks like this drone might go down as well. Nope, actually does manage to stay alive. So only 1 drone lost right there. Let's take a look at that workers lost tab. Yep, just 3 workers killed by our Red Zerg Machine to the 0 on Destiny's part. Still pretty low in the resources lost tab, but both these players are kind of just massing up quite the formidable Zerg army, as this is kind of just how Zerg vs. Zerg plays out here in the later game. Both these players have huge armies, and they will, if it goes a little bit longer, be able to replenish them quite a bit. So this might be a very, very long and arduous war of attrition awaiting us today. Let's take a look at that income tab. I'm a little curious, as Destiny is still ahead, although he does actually have a 5 harvester disadvantage at this point.